Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudire Nashta Prayesha Padreshu Nityam Bhakta Sevaya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtaki. So continuing with the discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, today we are starting new chapter, chapter number 3, talks between Lord Shiva and Sati. So the sacrifice that Lord Shiva went to, he got pretty much disrespected, insulted by Daksha. And then there was cursing by Nandishvara and the counter cursing by Brigumani. And meanwhile, Lord Shiva left that assembly, and he was very morose. And Daksha also left the assembly, although he was very angry, and that's why he left. But the sacrifice went on, and now something that happened later on. Text 1. Maitreya Vacha Sada Vidvishto Revam Kalu Vedriyamanayo Jamatu Shvasurasyapi Sumahanati Chakrami. Maitreya continued, in this manner the tension between the father-in-law and son-in-law, Daksha and Lord Shiva, continued for a considerably long period. So Daksha was not ready to give up his anger, but Lord Shiva, he didn't have any anger by just holding on to his, the humble nature. The previous chapter has already explained that Vidura questioned the sage Maitreya as to the cause of the misunderstanding between Lord Shiva and Daksha. Another question is why the strife between Daksha and his son-in-law caused Sati to destroy her body. The chief reason for Sati's giving up her body was that her father Daksha began another sacrificial performance to which Lord Shiva was not invited at all. Generally, when any sacrifice is performed, although each and every sacrifice is intended to pacify the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu, all the demigods, especially Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva and the other principal demigods such as Indra and Chandra, are invited and they take part. It is said that unless all the demigods are present, no sacrifice is complete, along with Vishnu. But in the tension between father-in-law and son-in-law, Daksha began another yajna performance to which Lord Shiva was not invited at all. Daksha was the chief progenitor employed by Lord Brahma, and he was a son of Brahma, so he had a high position and was also very proud. So this pride was not fit for a person like Daksha. Just like if you remember in the last chapter when he entered that sacrificial arena, his body was so effulgent, it was like millions of suns has risen at the same time. And all the demigods, all the sages, all the Brahmins assembled, they stood up. So that made Daksha very proud that I have so much. And why did Shiva did not stand up? And Daksha had cursed Lord Shiva that he will not be able to take your share of sacrifice from all the yajnas. Although Prabhupada explained, Lord Shiva was very happy. I didn't want to sit with all these materialistic demigods to take their share. But still, Daksha had cursed him, and now he is again performing another sacrifice. It happened after some time, after that previous sacrifice. But now he did not even invite Lord Shiva. Yada abhishikto dakshastu brahmana parameshthina prajapatinam sarvesham adhipatya smayo bhavat. When Lord Brahma appointed Daksha the chief of all the Prajapatis, the progenitors of population, Daksha became very much puffed up. Although he was envious and was inimical towards Lord Shiva, Daksha was appointed the chief of all Prajapatis. That was the cause of his excessive pride. When a man becomes too proud of his material possessions, he can perform any disastrous act. Therefore, Daksha acted out of his false prestige. This is described in this chapter. So he was very proud that he was a suitable candidate, that Brahmaji of all the people he had appointed him as a chief of the Prajapati. And that's why his name was Daksha. He was expert in producing population. But he was envious and was inimical towards Lord Shiva. And because nothing that Lord Shiva was doing against Daksha, only because, first of all, Lord Shiva's fame was much more than Daksha's. Although he did not have anything, any material possessions to be so proud of or boast of, but the fame of Lord Shiva as an renunciant, as a devotee, or as a compassionate person towards the fallen souls, that fame was so much that Daksha could not handle. He said, I have everything, how come I'm not more famous than Lord Shiva? Ishtvasa Vajpayena Brahmisthana Abhibhuya cha Braspate Savam Nama Samarebhe Krituttamam. Daksha began a sacrifice named Vajpaya, and he became excessively confident of his support by Lord Brahma. He then performed another great sacrifice named Brihaspati Sava. In the Vedas, it is prescribed that before performing a Brihaspati Sava sacrifice, one should perform the sacrifice named Vajpaya. While performing these sacrifices, however, Daksha neglected great devotees like Lord Shiva. According to Vedic scriptures, the demigods are eligible to participate in yagyas and share the oblations, but Daksha wanted to avoid them. All sacrifices are intended to pacify Lord Vishnu, but Lord Vishnu includes all his devotees. Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other demigods are all obedient servants of Lord Vishnu. Therefore, Lord Vishnu is never satisfied without them. But Daksha, being puffed up with his power, wanted to deprive Lord Brahma and Lord Shiva of the participation in the sacrifice, understanding that if one satisfies Vishnu, it is not necessary to satisfy his followers. But that is not the process. Vishnu wants his followers to be satisfied first. Lord Krishna says, Mad Bhakta Pujya Vidika. The worship of my devotees is better than worship of me. Similarly, in the Padma Puran, it is stated that the best mode of worship is to offer oblations to Vishnu. But better than that is to worship the devotees of Krishna. Thus, Daksha's determination to neglect Lord Shiva in the sacrifices was not fitting. So in this new sacrifice, first he was going to perform Vajpaya and then Brihaspati Sava. And in these sacrifices, Daksha didn't even invite Brahmaji or Shivaji, because he thought, I can satisfy Vishnu, so why do I need to satisfy Brahma and Shiva? But that's where he made the mistake, because these are all karmkandi sacrifices, material sacrifices, so the demigods have to be invited. But Daksha, he was just proud of his position, and he just wanted not to follow the exact rules and regulations. Tasmin brahmarshaya sarve devarshi pitri devataha asan krits vatstyayanas tatpatanyascha sabhartrikaha. While the sacrifice was being performed, many Brahmarishis, great sages, ancestral demigods and other demigods, their wives, all very nicely decorated with ornaments, attended from different parts of the universe. In any auspicious ceremony, such as a marriage ceremony, sacrificial ceremony, or puja ceremony, it is auspicious for married women to decorate themselves very nicely with ornaments, fine clothing, and cosmetics. These are auspicious signs. Many heavenly women assembled with their husbands, the Devrishis, the demigods, and Rajarishis, in that great sacrifice named Brihaspati Sabha. It is specifically mentioned in this verse that they approached with their husbands. For when a woman is decorated nicely, her husband becomes more cheerful. The nice decorations, ornaments, and dresses of the wives of the demigods and sages, and the cheerfulness of the demigods and sages themselves were all auspicious signs for the ceremony. So the ladies getting dressed up with ornaments, fine clothing, and cosmetics, it's from the time immemorial, from the beginning of time, beginning of creation. There's nothing new in this. So, and when heavenly women, and Prabhupada says, many heavenly women, when they were decorated nicely, their husbands also became cheerful. So I guess when they're dressed up and decorated nicely, they are happy, they are peaceful, and then the husbands become cheerful. Okay, no more problems here. So also, and Prabhupada said these are all auspicious signs for the ceremony. It's not that these are all, of course, for a devotee these are all artificial things. But still, if it is a tendency, it's a liking of ladies, then one should arrange. It's the husband's duty to arrange for all these things. But with Lord Shiva being the husband, the kind he was, no attachment at all and not even a single residence. I don't think his mind or he could even think of providing all this for Sati. Tad upshrutya nabasi khecharanam prachalpatam Sati Dakshayani Devi Pitri Yagya Mahotsavam Vrajanti Sarvato Diga Bhyapadeva Vrastriya Vimaniyana Sapreshta Nishkakanti Subhasasa Trishtva Savinal Yabhyashe Dolakshir Mushtakundalaha Mristakundalaha Patim Bhutapatim Devam Otsukyadhyabhyabhashata. The chaste lady Sati, the daughter of Daksha, heard the heavenly denizens. So her name is called here Dakshayani, the daughter of Daksha. Heard the heavenly denizens flying in the sky, conversing about the great sacrifice being performed by her father. When she saw that from all directions the beautiful wives of the heavenly denizens, their eyes were beautifully glittering, were near her residence and were going to the sacrifice, dressed in fine clothing and ornamented with earrings and necklaces with lockets, she approached her husband, the master of the bhutas, in great anxiety and spoke as follows. So I guess all these airplanes were flying over Kailash, and where she could see all these heavenly ladies dressed up so nicely. So this is a natural tendency of ladies to dress up nicely, especially when they see her own relatives dressed up so nicely and going to the sacrifice. So she also wanted to go to the sacrifice. It appears that the residence of Lord Shiva was not on this planet, but somewhere in the outer space. Otherwise, how could Sati have seen the airplanes coming from different directions towards this planet and heard the passengers talking about a great sacrifice being performed by Daksha? Sati is described here as Dakshayani because she was the daughter of Daksha. The mention of Upadeva Vara refers to inferior demigods like the Gandharvas, Kinnars, and Uragas, were not exactly demigods, but between the demigods and human beings. They were also coming in airplanes. The word Sunilaya Bhyashe indicates that they were passing right near her residential quarters. The dresses and bodily features of the wives of the heavenly denizens are very nicely described here. Their eyes moved, their earrings and other ornaments glittered and glared. Their dresses were the nicest possible, and all of them had special lockets on their necklaces. Each woman was accompanied by her husband. Thus they looked so beautiful that Sati, Dakshayani, was impelled to dress similarly and go to the sacrifice with her husband. That is a natural inclination of a woman. So she wanted to go to the party, the sacrifice, and wanted to dress up nicely and wanted to probably show off her jewelries and ornaments and the silk garments to others. These are natural, these are very natural for women. Text 8. Sati Uvacha Prajapateste Shwashurasya Sampratam Niryapito Yagya Mahotsava Kila Vayam Chatatrabhi Saramavamate Yad Yarthitami Vivuta Vrajantihi. Sati said, "My dear Lord Shiva, your father-in-law is now executing great sacrifices, and all the demigods having been invited by him are going there. If you desire, we may also go." So Sati, although she was very young in this story, but she knew how to, because she knew the problems between Shiva and Daksha. She said, your father-in-law means you are related to that person, Daksha, and he is performing great sacrifices. So if you desire, we may also go. She's trying to make Lord Shiva and make him ready to go. Sati knew of the tension between her father and her husband, but still she expressed to her husband, Lord Shiva, that since such sacrifices were going on at her father's house, and so many demigods were going, she also desired to go. But she could not express her willingness directly, and so she told her husband that if he desired to go, then she could also accompany him. In other words, she submitted her desire very politely to her husband. So that was the right way of doing it. But she didn't listen to Lord Shiva. Tasmin bhaginyo mam bhartribhi swakar dhruvam gamishayanti suhrid dirkshavaha aham cha tasmin bhavata vikamai sahopanitam paribarham arhitum. I think that all my sisters must have gone to this great sacrificial ceremony with their husbands just to see their relatives. I also desire to decorate myself with the ornaments given to me by my father and go there with you to participate in that assembly. So it's not that she didn't remember the problem between Daksha and Lord Shiva, but still it's her father and her relatives, and she wanted to just make sure all the animosity is gone between Shiva and Daksha. But she herself is trying to say, oh, I also desire to decorate. Maybe Lord Shiva can forget his anger and, okay, it's my wife who wants to dress nicely and wants to see her relatives. Maybe we can go. She's trying different ways with Lord Shiva. It's a woman's nature to want to decorate herself with ornaments and nice dresses and accompany her husband to social functions, meet friends and relatives, and enjoy life in that way. This propensity is not unusual, for women is a basic principle of material enjoyment. Therefore, in Sanskrit, the word for woman is stri, which means one who expands the field of material enjoyment. In the material world, there is an attraction between woman and man. That this is the arrangement of conditional life. A woman attracts a man, in that way the scope of material activities involving house, wealth, children, and friendship increases. And thus, instead of decreasing one's material demands, one becomes entangled in material enjoyment. So that is why it is said one should just remain a brahmachari. And it's very easy for him to make progress spiritually. But if he gets married, then there will be requirement, because it's natural. Women like all these things, material things like house and wealth and children and friendship. She wants all this. And then man, he forgets his spiritual goals, and he ends up providing all this. And materially, he tries to enjoy with the wife and the family. Lord Shiva, however, is different. Therefore, his name is Shiva. He's not at all attracted by material enjoyment. Although his wife Sati was the daughter of a very great leader and was given to him by the request of Brahma, Lord Shiva was reluctant. But Sati, as a woman, the daughter of a king, wanted enjoyment. She wanted to go to her father's house, just as her other sisters might have done, and meet them and enjoy social life. So from her perspective, or from scriptural perspective, she was not wrong, and neither was Lord Shiva. So let's see what happens. She did not say that she would decorate herself with the ornaments given by her husband, because her husband was careless about all such matters. He did not know how to decorate his wife and take part in social life, because he was always in ecstasy with thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He's a master of all the renunciants, all the people who are detached. The best is Lord Shiva among the non-Vishnu tattvas. So he didn't even know how to provide all these things, the clothes and the ornaments and the cosmetics, to his wife Sati. In fact, although Lord Ram, he's a Kshatriya and he was in the palace, but when he was exiled to the forest for 14 years, some place I had read that it was Sitaji who took her jewelry and cosmetics with her. Ram didn't know. And then she made Lakshman carry it all the time. So Lakshman was really serving Sita and Ram. And then Sitaji was given the clothes by, I'm forgetting whose wife gave her the clothes. And those clothes were divine clothes that they will not get dirty, because she would be out there in the forest. So the point is, this is the natural propensity of ladies. But Lord Shiva, he did not know how to decorate his wife and take part in social life, because he was always in ecstasy with thoughts of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. According to the Vedic system, a daughter is given a sufficient dowry at the time of her marriage. And therefore Sati was also given a dowry by her father, and ornaments were included. It's also the custom that the husband gives some ornaments, but here it is particularly mentioned that her husband, being materially almost nothing, could not do so. Therefore she wanted to decorate herself with the ornaments given by her father. It was fortunate for Sati that Lord Shiva did not take the ornaments from his wife and spend them for ganja, because those who imitate Lord Shiva in smoking ganja exploit everything from household affairs. They take all of their wives' property and spend on smoking, intoxication, and similar other activities. So many people, millions and millions of people have done that to their wives. And the funny thing is, when we steal jewelry or steal money and then go out and spend it on smoking or intoxication and similar other activities, they don't even realize the smoking and intoxication does not help the person who's doing it. Does not help him in any way. Materially, physically, emotionally, spiritually, it does not help him at all. It's just a wastage of money. But people get so addicted that they cannot just give it up. So for that, they're ready to do any kind of crime, and they're ready to steal any money from anybody, so that they can just go and get some smoke, cigarette, or some liquor, so that they can drink it or smoke it and just sit there and they say we are being high. No benefit at all, none. But Lord Shiva, as Prabhupada said, at least he did not take or steal the ornaments from his wife and spend them for ganja. But modern day husbands, they have done that over and over again. Tatra srirme nanu bhartri samhita matrishvasri klindadhyam chamataram drakshe chirota mana mahashibhir unniyam cha mridadvajam. My sisters, my mother's sisters and their husbands and other affectionate relatives must be assembled there. So if I go, I shall be able to see them, and I shall be able to see the flapping flags and the performance of the sacrifice by the great sages. For these reasons, my dear husband, I am very much anxious to go. As stated before, the tension between the father-in-law and the son-in-law persisted for a considerable time. Sati therefore had not gone to her father's house for a long while. Thus she was very anxious to go to her father's house, particularly because on that occasion her sisters and their husbands and her mother's sisters would be there. As is natural for a woman, he wanted to dress equally to her other sisters and also be accompanied by her husband. She did not, of course, want to go alone. So she wanted to go, and she hadn't seen her relatives, the sisters, the mother, the sisters' husbands, for a long time. So she really wanted to dress up and go, and she wanted to go with her husband. But Lord Shiva was not ready to go there. Tvayetad आश्चर्यम अजात्म मायया विनिर्मितं भाति गुणत्रयात्मकं तथापि अहं योषित तत्व विच्यते दीनादिदृक्षे भव में भवक्षितम्. This manifested cosmos is a wonderful creation of the interaction of three material modes, or the external energy of the Supreme Lord. This truth is fully known to you. Yes, I am but a poor woman, and as you know, I am not conversant with the truth. Therefore, I wish to see my birthplace once more. Dakshayani Sati knew very well that her husband, Lord Shiva, was not very much interested in the glaring manifestations of the material world, which is caused by the interaction of three modes of material nature. Therefore, she addressed her husband as Aja, which refers to one who has transcended the bondage of birth and death, or one who has realized his eternal position. She stated, this illusion of accepting the perverted reflection, the material, or cosmic manifestation to be real is not present in you because you are self-realized. For you, the attraction of social life and the consideration that someone is father, someone is mother, someone is sister, which are illusory relationships, is already over. So in one way, she's trying to pacify Lord Shiva by praising him. That you know all about material world, you know all about material creation. But I'm still a woman and I don't know much, I don't have much intelligence. So I do want to meet my mother, my sister's husbands. For you, there is no attraction for all these material relationships. But I still want to. That's what she said, but because I'm a poor woman, I'm not so advanced in transcendental realization. Therefore, naturally, these appear to me as real. Only less intelligent persons accept the perverted reflection of the spiritual world to be real. Those who are under the spell of the external energy accept this manifestation to be fact, whereas those who are advanced in spiritual realization know that it is illusion. Actual reality is elsewhere in the spiritual world. But as far as I am concerned, Sati said, I do not have much knowledge about self-realization. I am poor because I do not know the actual facts. I am attracted by my birthplace and why I wanted to see it. So she is trying to get Lord Shiva come over there. Even if he comes for the sake of Sati, but he should come. That's what she's trying. One who has attraction for his birthplace, for his body, and for other such items mentioned in the Bhagavatam is considered to be like an ass or a cow, means like an animal. Sati might have heard all this many times from her husband, Lord Shiva, but because she was a woman, Yoshit, she still hankered after the same material objects of affection. The word Yoshit means one who is enjoyed. Therefore, women is called Yoshit. In spiritual advancement, association with Yoshit is always restricted because if one is like a play doll in the hands of a Yoshit, then all his spiritual advancement is at once stopped. It is said those who are like playthings in the hands of a woman, Yoshit Krida Digeshu, cannot make any advancement in spiritual realization. So she's just trying her best to implore Lord Shiva that he should accompany her. And she could decorate her nicely, put nice jewelry, but but she wanted Lord Shiva to come with her. Forget the animosity, forget the problems with Daksha, just come. I think I'm a little tired today, so I won't be able to continue from here. So I'll stop here, see anybody has any questions or comments. Okay, so we can stop here. You all have a wonderful and safe day. Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Prabhupada.